Since you kept your side of the bargain and reached 5k likes on the first part, I decided to give you, my friend, a better and bigger list for mods that add bosses to Minecraft. Watch till the end so you're not missing out on any. Now without any further ado, let's dive into the video. Under this majestic aurora, there lays the beautiful ice maze, an incredibly structured biome. Here, you'll come across all kinds of random buildings, some of which have long been abandoned, but others still have some passengers. They're not the kindest folks, so prepare for a heated conflict. Aquamirae have many foes to fight, but the most notable is Captain Cornelia, a lady ghost with many abilities, techniques, and even weapons, as you will notice her swapping armament back and forth during a fight. Captain Cornelia is so strong, but she's not invincible. Once defeated, this boss will drop a frozen key and a map. Tracking the destination of the map will be no easy feat, and you will encounter a lot of monsters trying to end your journey or even your life, so be careful. Once you get to your destination, you will be up for one last fight against the guardians of this place. The treasure is worthwhile, so I suggest arming yourself up and jumping at the danger like the champion you are. After the fierce battle, you can proudly claim your reward. You deserve it. This reward will be on this frozen chest, which you can open with the frozen key. I was stupid enough to get everything but the most important item, so make sure not to make the same mistake as I did. Up next, we got Lycanites mobs, and this mod will bombard your world with bizarre and honestly absurd mobs. The design of each one of these creatures is so odd and nothing like the vanilla side we're used to. Some of these mobs can be tamed and ridden. Others will be a pain to deal with. And some are straight up demonic, like this boss over here. He looks horrifying and so massive, we're talking 30 or even 50 blocks tall. Defeating this dude is near impossible, and I suggest teaming up with other players against him, because believe me, he'll give you a hard time, especially due to the army surrounding him. A harder mob to come across is Asmodeus. This is a spider-looking boss with little Gatling gun in his... let's continue. This boss will jump very high, just to land right on top of your head. It's almost unbeatable, but once you manage to get its health bar to almost half, which is an impossible mission all by itself, the boss will actually go through a second phase. This time around, nothing damages him. He's the ultimate force and you can basically do nothing about it. Just try running away somewhere or die. And to make matters worse, there will be many versions of him that are equally torturing to deal with. Coming next is Ultris boss expansion, the first vanilla plus mod in the list actually, and what resembles this are the bosses themselves. They are just vanilla mobs with superpowers. For example, we have the Corrupted Enderman. As you might have guessed, this is just an Enderman with a reddish skin. At one point, this boss will ascend to the sky, here where the real battle begins. From there, the Corrupted Enderman will shoot some explosives in your direction. He will also prohibit you from climbing up to him, so the only solution here is to fight fire with fire. You must throw an ender pearl on his direction. This way you can stun the Corrupted Enderman. After he lands back in the ground, use all your might to kill him before he flies back up. Below the caves, there is a place called the Sanctum. It's entirely built of copper and is dense with skeletons. You can explore the vast rooms here for various items and loot. But in one of these rooms, you will encounter the Sanctum Keeper, a boss that is super confusing to fight since he'll generate clones of himself and teleport to random spots. You may be baffled by the amount of dead bodies in the room. That's actually because each time the Keeper teleports, a skeleton will have to sacrifice their lives for it to happen. After its death, the Keeper will drop nothing, which is a waste of time, but it was fun to fight him anyways. Upon finding another fortress, you may also find the Blaze King Tower, where the Blaze King himself awaits you. Before you fight him though, you'll have to kill your way up. After that brief task is done, you can fight the boss, but let me tell you, this is unlike any Blaze you fought before. The Blaze King is a flamboyant mob, and fighting him will be a difficult mission. He'll try to burn you at any given chance, so make sure you've got your fire protection on, and blast protection as well, since the Blaze King is also capable of summoning explosions on your direction. He will also use a laser-like attack that will burn any creature upon contact. After you've dealt the killing blow, the Blaze King will ascend to the sky and explode, leaving behind a precious helmet that will protect you from any fire damage. Now to the end, where you will come across a floating spaceship. Here, where your battle against the Shulker Stone begins. You've got to be careful here since the Shulker Stone is capable of shooting a beam at your direction before you can even blink. Bringing a shield would be a wise option since the boss will bombard you with the floating projectiles. If you happen to accidentally fall into here, you'll be lucky since there will be some useful items to loot. Now in order to defeat the Shulker Stone, you must use his power against him. What I mean by that is that you can use the levitation effect to land on the middle of his platform. From here, you can slash him with all of your might. Once you kill him, this boss will ascend up above and drop his valuables. In this case, it is a mighty helmet that will give you the ability to observe any mobs around you. Blood and Madness is a self-explanatory mod. Here, your foes will be some cursed and feral creatures. They are so creepy and their only objective is to destroy you. And they'll not stop until this goal is achieved. They'll look for you anywhere and charge with their most powerful attacks. Of course, given their wild look, intelligence is not one of their strongest abilities, so we'll usually observe them rolling to their death. But this guy here seems to be humanoid. Maybe he's smart and can be a threat. Oh, never mind. Twilight Forest is a mod that requires no introduction, so let's jump right in. Some of its bosses included the Naga, a hideous reptile that will headbutt you to death. Literally, that's all it does. The more you damage the Naga, the shorter it gets, until it is completely spent. Here, you can just give the killing blow, which will be followed by the drop of its head. Another boss includes yourself, I guess. In the Twilight Forest, you may literally come across a couple giant clones of yourself. They are not the strongest per se, but once defeated, you'll drop a massive sword. The Hydra is up next, and this boss does not joke. Right away, you'll notice a suffocating atmosphere, and to be honest, I have no idea why that is. But let's proceed with the fight. Each head will do something unique. One may headbutt you, the other will try to inflame you to death, and the third one will try to bite a piece of you. This thing is seriously durable and will not die quickly, so make sure you are ready for a long and tiring battle. The first boss that is included with the BetweenLands is the Berishi. Right from the start though, the game crashed. This is because I used shaders, so try to go vanilla when battling with the Berishi. Anyways, this is an ancient machine that uses sound waves as a weapon. The volume of its sonic boom is so groundbreaking and will cause earthquakes. It can also push you away aggressively and kill you instantly if you are not well equipped. Although this boss is cute in comparison to the Chiramau Matriarch, a wavering creature that will demolish you with its sharp feathers. And not just that, but the Chiramau is also capable of picking you up from the ground and throwing you to your death. This attack is seriously annoying and it is almost impossible to evade. AdventureZ starts by introducing some mini-bosses such as the Piglin Leader, that, as the name mentions, a mutated version of the Piglin, with a small flag behind its back. This beast is relatively easy to kill, but is also stronger than the average Piglin. The Summoner is also a leader type mob, with a lot of guards surrounding him. His abilities include rapidly summoning guards when being attacked. He can also teleport away in the blink of an eye. But once you have your grip on him, he can be killed with only a couple of blows, nothing more. The Soul Reaper is also another mob, and this guy lives up to its name, so be careful around him. And now to the actual bosses. And the first one we've got is the Stone Golem. You first need to build a platform for him to spawn. And you should also do these rituals where you put shards on every corner. The spawning animation for the Stone Golem is creative, as it will be built block by block until it is a moving body. This boss doesn't have any ground-breaking abilities, but he will burn you if you get closer to him. He also goes through a second phase when damaged enough. And while in this phase, the Stone Golem will summon a couple of minions around him that will crawl on the ground and try to reach you. And the final boss here is at the end. Through constructing this platform, you can summon me. Yes, this is actually the boss, just a flying giant eye vendor that will chase you down and will perform some attacks similar to the guardians on the ocean monuments. At a certain point though, this boss will multiply itself so that the inflicted damage is also multiplied. So be cautious not to stay on their side for too long. Alex's Mobs is a mod mainly known for its contribution in adding beautiful animals around your world. But within the mod itself, there are two main strong bosses. The first one being the Mosco, a jagged mosquito that will be pounding you with its enormous arms, charging so fast at you and destroying any obstacles on its way. It can also fly away and shoot some beams at you. It's very durable and quite hard to defeat, and it cannot be summoned with certain rituals. Instead, it will just be found randomly on the wart forests. The second boss is the Void Worm. It is a giant animal that can fly so high in the sky that it would be impossible for any blade to reach it. So I would recommend shooting it with arrows and waiting for the opportunity to come, where the Void Worm comes back down. Once defeated, the Void Worm will drop some food, blocks, and its eye. When it comes to battles, the Alex's Caves mod will provide you with plenty, since almost every mob here fights back for its survival and will give you some entertainment. However, the big bosses are the real fun, starting with the Germosaurus, a literal replicate of the T-Rex dinosaur. This boss will grab you and bite you to your death, but since I'm using the Epic Fight mod here, the animation seems to have been ruined. For some reason, it instead sends me flying so high. The roar of this monster is enough to send shivers down your spine, and it is super hard to kill. Next up, we got an aquatic giant, and that is the Hullbreaker. You do not want to mess with this guy, and I'll show you why. This boss keeps headbutting and biting you relentlessly. It has a brute force within it that can destroy hundreds of blocks at once. Although I damaged the Hullbreaker so much, he still got some in the tank, so it's definitely more durable than the Tremosaurus. Next up, we got the Forsaken, a boss with a self-explanatory name. This demonic mob will follow you to your death and can shoot a supersonic sound that damages any entities nearby. Upgrade Aquatic adds two types of sharks, the first being the normal thrasher. This is a blind predator that has an internal sonar radar, which it uses to capture any nearby mobs that happen to make a sound. The bite force of the thrasher is so tight, and they see no scenario where you are leaving its mouth alive. The great thrasher is literally just a bigger version of the normal thrasher, and yes, it bites a bit harder, killing you quite instantly. The Dark Forest Mansion is one of the very few structures that many of us have to think twice before entering. The Conjurer mod will introduce a similar structure. This time, it is a beautiful theater with amazing art pieces. Though the place is small, it holds a worthy opponent, that being the Conjurer, a man with a pale skin, orange eyes, tall hat, and a purple suit. Before even reaching the Conjurer, its followers will be a hard barrier to pass, so I would recommend focusing your forces on them first. And now to the Conjurer. The fight against him is quite bizarre and honestly very hard. The Conjurer will throw a bunch of bouncing balls, summon a couple of hostile rabbits, and even make himself invisible, which earns him the name of the Conjurer, and it means a magician. Once he's dead, the Conjurer will drop his hat, throwing cards, and some bouncing balls, some of which can be used as a weapon, although not so strong of a weapon, but it's so much fun to play around. That was it for today's video. If you haven't watched part 1, I highly recommend you do. Also, like and subscribe if this video helped you in any way. And I'll see ya in the next one, my friend.